Welcome back to the Brew Crew Podcast, everyone. I'm JT. I'm going to do maybe not a full episode today, so I'm not going to even say the episode number, but I'll probably just mark this as a short. Today I'm coming to you solo, but like I said on Facebook, I always get a little deterred by how many people watch the solo episodes. So people tend to lean towards Matt more. So how can I deliver Matt while also doing a solo episode? Well, I think I figured it out. So today I am going to be a BCP fan, and I'm just going to do what I've always wanted to do on YouTube, a reaction video, which I think are always fun. I'm going to be reacting to one of the very few episodes I haven't watched, episode 246, Tipple Party. I'm not sure if that was supposed to be triple, but we'll find out. Maybe Matt covers it in the video. I'm going to do a drink along with the beers that he has, which I believe for this episode is Haunted Hayride and Eagle Park MC Hammerschlagen. I have those here. I might see how long this takes, but I might do one. Maybe I'll do both. I don't know. But here's a reaction video. Let's just get this started. Episode 246. This is a reaction video. BCP. All right.
Chuglos, welcome to episode 246 of the Brew Crew Podcast. And you're probably going to be asking yourself, Matt, where's JT?
Yeah,
how can we do a full episode without
That's
him?
For sure.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. I think I have enough on tap for us this episode that we can get that shorts ridiculous stuff out of here, and I can
here we are doing a short
by myself. Earlier today on the Facebook page, I posted a question about, hey, if there's something that you want to talk about or you want me to talk about, or my opinion, beer related, tangentially related, because there's a lot going on in the world right now.
When are you going to crack the beer?
Post it below. A couple of you liked it, so ouch out to Chuggalo Steph and Chuggalo Blake for liking that post. But Chuggalo Ryan actually came up with a question, which leads me into my first beer.
Perfect.
Chuggalo Ryan's question is, my opinion on Oktoberfest or pumpkin beers coming out early. And you know what? My first opinion will come right off the top rope, as my beer for this first one is going to be a Haunted Hayride from Masthead.
Let's drink along and see how this goes.
We'll go into that a little bit more, and we won't do the canner boner segment, but we got to hear the tunes.
Let's pause it here. All right, so he's played the music, the can art music. Got to do the can art boner segment. This is Masthead's Cleveland Brewing Company Haunted Hayride Pumpkin Ale. Obviously, the can art is a pumpkin. There's the typical, what do they call that? The scroll kind of thing. Says Cleveland on it. Haunted Pumpkin Hayride, or Haunted Hayride Pumpkin Ale. Not much can art to talk about. So that's the can art boner segment. And we're going to say that is brought to you by the BCP, because I don't think we have a new refreshed one. Although I'm going to hit play, but we'll address that question from Ryan here after Matt does his.
Look at that. Delicious can from Masthead out of Cleveland. Some of the stats on this before I go to sleeve it. It's, excuse me, it's a pumpkin ale coming in at 7.3%. And we'll get into Masthead. You can find out more about them at mastheadbrewing.com. But I'm going to.
He didn't count down, so I didn't have time.
Beer today.
But there we go.
So, anyways, JT's off gallivanting the globe and doing important things. So
gallivanting, yeah. Let me tell you, I was actually. Let me pause this. So I was in.
It's always my big thing. I'm conscientious about.
Well, Virginia. I was in Virginia.
When I do these solo episodes.
That was a great long story.
When I take time to consume that dead air that bothers me when I listen to other people's podcasts.
I'll fill the dead air
Typically,
for you.
It's not solo endeavors, but multiple people commenting on the topic of the day.
Well, this was posted on September 11th.
Oktoberfest beers. So they're starting to creep out and come out in July. What are my thoughts?
They are coming out
It's
pretty
famously
early.
my favorite time for beer. I love Oktoberfest. I love pumpkin beers. I love it all. About it coming out earlier, and there's going to be a reason I am doing 2 Oktoberfest beers on this episode, because last episode it was my beer submission. So then this week, and then next week will probably be JT's, or however we work it. Soon we're going to be into October, and we're going to be out of the Oktoberfest season typically, even though you can drink them with impunity whenever you want to.
You can drink them
whenever you want. I like when they come out, and I feel like I don't get enough of them because my fridge is chock full of sours and IPAs. So I like that it prompts me to drink them, and I need to drink them more. So I'm going to probably be in the minority because there's other individuals I know out there, and this is going to be the
Now, if
hot
you've
button
seen-
issue. And I hope that you put your comments below and we celebrate
I'll go ahead and pause it.
either if you like them coming out when they do or if you don't like them coming out.
All right.
But I'm firmly in the camp. I'm fine with them coming out in July.
All right, so I'll pause it there so I can react. I don't particularly think Oktoberfest beers are that great. I don't really understand why people do. I get that it's more of a beer-flavored beer. It gives you a little weediness. It does kind of ring in the fall. I also don't know about pumpkin beers. I also agree that Oktoberfest beers are coming in far too early now. Maybe there's just people who make Oktoberfest beers year-round now, because it doesn't need to be the fall. It doesn't need to be September for you to make a Oktoberfest beer. That was one thing I had to learn pretty quickly into my journey as a beer drinker on this podcast was that Oktoberfest beers don't always come out in October. And in fact, October might be too late. Though October, which it is now, has some Oktoberfests around locally with us. So anyway, not a huge fan. I really don't get the hype. But I think the hype is kind of an old school thing. I think it's an old school hype. Whereas now, the BCP might get hyped for, a really big barrel aged release or a sour release or something like that. But not quite the Oktoberfest. It's kind of like the McRib. It happens annually, so eventually you kind of just burn out. All right, let's kick it off.
Like them. Now,
the
typically
video.
I would rate pumpkin ales above a Marzen, for instance. But I really like that they come out when they do, because it gives me more time to enjoy them instead of like a month-long
While he finishes, because if you've seen this video, I can talk over Matt.
That's a hard target to hit, and they try to
let's see
do
what he's
it
about to say.
quarterly rather than monthly.
Anyway,
because I know there are some new releases.
I
Again,
think
back to those beer calendars that JT and
that
I
I'm
were
just
talking
going to do
about.
this one beer
love when
because
breweries
this
put
experiment might not be
If you go to
going
their website,
great. I don't know. Maybe it's
something
awesome
that's gonna
doing
be
this
released,
reaction
it's gonna
video.
be available when
Let's
it's
keep
gonna be at
listening
the
here. It
brewery,
just feels
all that,
awkward to
especially
sit here and
for
stare at the
local
screen.
Brewers. Or just go Brewers.
Don't go Brewers. That's for sure. Don't go Brewers.
So anyways,
I filled
I'm
in the
probably
space
going to be
there.
in the minority there because there's a lot of individuals that don't like, it's the whole Christmas Mariah Carey thing. We don't wait till the day after Thanksgiving for all that stuff to hit. It starts hitting, and then people miss out on Thanksgiving. It's all there. It's just where you choose to look for that. So that's my opinion on that. We'll have to probably get JT's
until
because I'm sure
after
he's got
Thanksgiving
thoughts.
to do Christmas stuff.
Speaking of where we are in the world, it was just
movies.
NFL kickoff. We
All right,
record this
he's
on
talking about
Monday,
NFL
just this
now.
last
Let's really
last
get
week
into
on
it.
Sunday. Well, technically Thursday, but you know what I mean. Everyone's teams were playing on Sunday, with apologies to the Thursday and Monday night game.
Don't apologize.
And today is actually 9/11, and I'd be remiss if I didn't say it's the 22nd anniversary of 9/11, the attacks that happened in New York, D.C., and in Pennsylvania. And it's ironic that JT and I share veterans. Where we've both.
This might be a little too serious for a reaction video. Maybe I should have chosen a different
I signed up
one.
for the military 3 weeks before September 11th happened, and it's crazy how much my life changed based on those events. Because I went in, and in a matter of 3 weeks, because I enlisted
What time?
on August 21st, 2001, and how the world and the landscape changed, and just the moment, and I just saw a pretty. This is going to be a heavy topic, but the first responders.
Probably not the right video to react
There's almost as many first responders that have passed from first responder related illnesses, from responding to the attacks, then died in the attacks, and that's just a crazy. 22 years later, and we're looking at just the loss of life, and that's not even to include the servicemen and women that gave all. In the global war on terror and subsequent battles across the globe.
We'll pause it there.
Whatever your feelings are, one way or the other, you're entitled to.
I don't know. I don't really want to comment too much on this because it's kind of a somber topic, but yeah, he's right. A lot of the first responders are getting dying from cancers caused by inhaling certain chemicals and stuff from the buildings, which is crazy. 23 years, that's a long time. that's crazy timing for Matt to have joined the military 3 weeks before 9/11. That's just nuts. So don't really want to go into too much detail about that, but no, let's keep going.
And JT and I encourage that, but definitely a moment and to tip a beer.
Tip a beer.
For those individuals directly affected affected.
Not making light of it, just tip a beer.
Lots of stuff.
Cheers to that.
Today. But the Packers beat the Bears, so that's all we care about. So go Pack, go.
No, don't go Pack, go. But I'm glad to see that the Packers also kind of suck.
Where else we are in
the whole division sucks,
Brewery
really.
2024. So I shared my pictures of my brewery, BRUERY brewery out of California. They released their 2024 Reserve Society, and I'm actually going to put the link down below. You can sign up.
Let's see, did he put that link below?
Member, it starts on the 15th.
He did.
So this upcoming
Much better than me. I always forget what I say during these podcasts, so I always forget to put anything below.
I shared those bottles with a couple of the Chuggalos already, bequeathing JT one for his birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So you can read out more.
I cellared it. It'll be a while before I have that.
Information for you, the Chuggalo, down below. All right, here's another one. This one got me to all end. Is who's heard when referencing drinking? We had a couple of tipples.
Oh, okay. So tipple was the right
I've
spelling.
never heard that before.
Well, there you go. So neither
It
had
was
I.
my drill weekend this last weekend, and although I wasn't there, I was in correspondence with my boss to see what I missed this last weekend. And it was individuals going away, and he's like, we had a couple of tipples. And I don't even know, as somebody that prides themselves on using uncommon vernacular, I don't know if tipples is something I'm going to be able to engage in or offer up in my common phraseology. If JT watches this, maybe I'll try to sneak in.
I am watching it. Look at that.
Week, maybe he'll comment on it.
But
tipples.
Tipple. I think we did talk about this,
etymology,
if I remember correctly. But again, I don't remember anything I talk about in this podcast.
And I encourage you. That was definitely a word of the day. If you like words of the day, there's a couple of Chuggalos out there that like that stuff. Tipples, Tipples. Just having a drink, if you will.
Just having a drink, if you will. I'll fill the dead air. But let's talk about the beer. Let's see if I taste what he tastes.
I like
thin for sure. Yeah, thin for sure. The pumpkin's there, but it's more of a pumpkin spice.
Whatever. Not like the Mars.
Not like a pumpkin. Like what do they call that? Like the flesh, the meat of the pumpkin.
This one doesn't really coat the palate that much.
No, it doesn't. He's right.
And don't worry, for those of you that tune
it's
in
not
for
creamy.
JT, the loquacious one, I have
not
his beer
today.
I have enough for both of us. I will bequeath him one in the hopes that he eventually fills out this spreadsheet that I gave him a couple of months ago.
Ah, the spreadsheet.
Just so
I have been chipping away at it, Matt. I've been chipping away. I think I've got 3 beers now. Because I got to go back and watch the episodes because I don't write anything down. Let me pause this real quick. I'm doing it. I'm doing the spreadsheet. I actually wanted to give you the scores in the spreadsheet as a gift for episode 250, but I didn't finish in time. I wish I could illustrate to you the chaos of life, with 2 teenagers who are both involved in sports all the time. And I mean, when we're talking like, I work all day, and then they're in school all day, and then the second both of those things end, it's just like a mad dash to bedtime. And that's just like sports, dinner, everything. And, Katie's been going through a bunch of stuff. So anyway, and I'm not looking for sympathy. It's really hard to sit down and scroll through these episodes. So obviously I take the fall. I take the blame. Not the fall, because it's my fault. I should have wrote down my scores when I did them. Now I go back. I'm going back and I'm watching the episodes and I'm kind of scrolling through to find out where the beer review was. And I sit there and I'll listen for about 2 or 3 minutes to get to the part where I actually say the review. Because, these reviews, they just drag on forever. And I think that's what's great about our show. I think that's what's awesome about the podcast. But when you're trying to go find a specific thing, it's a lot more difficult. Also, I'm for those who don't know, I'm also proficient in writing code. I've thought about maybe just developing a algorithm to convert the video to text and just read through until I find my score, because that would be a lot easier. Control F, fine. However, all of the methods that I've found so far using Python, they're all APIs, and I don't feel like doing that, and I think I have to pay for them. So anyway, if you know about a library that I could do that, it'd make this a lot quicker. But Matt, the scores are coming. Just, I know it's messing you up to have blank cells. I'm gonna get them to you. Don't worry.
He still refuses to use Untapped.
Oh,
Anyways,
I don't refuse to
digress.
use Untapped. I just
This
don't have
beer
the time
doesn't
for it.
coat the palate as much as I like. Both the texture of the beer and the flavor profile of it. As soon as it hits and you get that pumpkin, it's gone as I'm talking.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's unfortunate because I want that pumpkin taste to last. Sometimes there's beers that you don't mind if they're
let me
gone
pause it here.
right away.
So this pumpkin taste, no. This pumpkin taste is more of a pumpkin spice, like I mentioned. I'm just not into pumpkin spice, especially with this quantity. It's far too much. It's almost, while this beer doesn't coat your tongue, it almost leaves a powdery feeling on your tongue. Like maybe you're actually just drinking pumpkin spice, ground up pumpkin spice. It's not pleasant. I don't like it.
Whether they're a shock to the palate, or I'm saying with good beers, because disappointing beers, obviously you don't want them to malinger on your palate. But this is one I wish that it did stick around for a little bit more, because those are flavor profiles I like. The pumpkin spice, the allspice, the cinnamon. Again, that brief. Everyone knows the texture of pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin pie is awesome.
It's not overly sugary or whatever, but
this is not pumpkin pie.
It's fall. It's fall captured in a pie.
It's not like the meat of the pumpkin. It is not at all. It is really.
What is there is well balanced, well seasoned.
It is well balanced. I give them that. Even if the taste isn't great, it is well balanced.
And that really is unfortunate. No. You get all the fall feelings. The weather's finally starting to turn here. I was battling in my own house this last weekend of having the windows open and putting a fan in most windows to get that cross breeze I always get made fun of in the house.
Who makes fun of you for cross breezes?
2 nights, both Friday and Saturday, where we closed up all the windows because we get the setting sun.
I mean, no offense to the people in your house who are making fun of you, but I mean the cross breeze is literally the point to having more than one window. If cross breezes didn't matter, we'd all only have one window in our house. But opening one window does nothing. No air comes in. No air goes out. It's just stale air. You got to open up 2 windows and get that cross breeze. Who's making fun of you for that? Tell them to shut up.
That goes into the girls' bedrooms, and we turn the air on. I was like, I don't want to deal with it because we both.
Matt seems like the kind of old school guy who hates putting the air on. He counts the cents.
I don't know.
He's not cheap.
People that are,
but I feel like he knows how much he spends per. I'm going to pause it here so I can make this point. I feel like Matt's the type of... So I'm strict about money. I'm not cheap either. But Matt's not cheap. But I feel like he knows per device how much electricity is being used.
People that can deal with that. But not us upper North Midwesterners that enjoy the cool breeze. And again, that's one of my favorite times.
Who doesn't enjoy a cool breeze?
Getting up.
I love how... This is another thing I love about Matt and people from Wisconsin. Everything is a Wisconsin thing. Everything is like, oh, we own that. We like cool breezes. It's like everyone likes cool breezes. Everyone likes beer. You guys aren't the beer state because you make beer. I mean, that's why that's there. You got the brewers, you got Miller, and you got a lot of people make beer, but everyone likes beer. Every state likes beer. Yeah, you might drink more of it, but I don't know if that's a stat you want to claim. Maybe you do. I mean, that's fine. But cool breezes? Come on, Matt. Everyone likes cool breezes. Even in Alaska, would probably like a cool breeze. Not a cold breeze, cool breeze.
Sitting down in the man cave or sitting in the church room bar, having a breeze, wearing a hoodie, wearing sweatpants.
That would be a good beer name.
The official garb of fall. The best clothes come with fall too.
Or name the beer breeze.
Hoodie,
more obvious.
Pajama pants and slippers. And having that cool breeze on the air, and just watching football, or just
watching the Bears
talking
lose,
about unimportant things with family, friends, and loved ones.
Typical. Here's another thing about the Bears and the Packers. To Packers fans, it's always probably great to see the Bears lose, But I have to imagine that it's more fun to beat the Bears when the Bears think they're good. I mean, because that's satisfying when you beat a team that thinks they're good. But when the team clearly knows that they suck, and you know, I'm not saying, I know my mom commented the Bears don't suck. The Bears suck, and they know it. They know it. It's not like it's a secret. It's not like I'm being anti-Bears. I'm still a Bears fan over all of the teams. But I mean, they know it. So beating them is kind of like, well, we're supposed to win. You're supposed to beat the Bears because they're terrible. But I bet you it's got to feel better to beat them when they're good or when they think they're good. I would guess. So, yeah, that's all. I mean, brag, fine. I mean, that's great. Brag, because I would brag too if the Bears were dominating the Packers. But it just doesn't have that oomph that it should.
Wow. So off the top rope.
All right, off the top rope. Let me
I've got
before
about
he goes
30
off the
beer
top
left.
rope.
It's going down quickly.
Let me guess what he's going to give it, and then I'm going to tell you what I'm going to give it. I think that Matt's going to give this beer either a 3.75 or a 4. If I had to pick one of those, I'm going to pick 4, but I'm not really sure about that. And what I'm giving this beer is a 2.75. Not a fan. I think the pumpkin spice is too. Yeah, I don't like it. It's just not. It doesn't. I think maybe I'm. And I'm not talking like pumpkin spice, cool, creamy coffee pumpkin spice like you get at Starbucks. I'm talking like just off-putting, bitter, dull pumpkin spice. There's a coffee undertone here because it's a stout, right, or a porter. Let's see what I got here. What is this beer? Oh, it's a pumpkin ale. What am I talking about? There's still like a very bitter coffee undertone. Regardless of that, but yeah, now that I'm thinking about it. You can taste the ale a lot more now that I've read that it's a pumpkin ale. I don't know why I didn't think that. I think it's the color of the beer. It's kind of darker. Not dark. It's not a dark beer. It's not a porter at all. But it's just darker than an ale. And it does have that bitterness, and maybe that's the pumpkin spice masquerading as something else. But anyway, 2.75 for me. I just don't really like this beer. Pumpkins need to have creaminess, like a pumpkin pie. It should be creamy. People put whipped cream on their pumpkin pies for a reason. Give me something more than just that weird pumpkin spice flavor.
This beer, for an October style or October fall beer, Oktoberfest style beer, and again, Haunted Hayride Pumpkin Ale, 7.3. This is crushable. And maybe it's crushable because it doesn't malinger on the palate.
I disagree.
Malinger. Off the top rope.
I gotta look that up. It's probably a word.
I was hoping for more. So again, my favorite beer, season, one of my top styles that I go after. I'm going to give this a 4.
4, boom,
The
there it is.
thing,
I was
though,
right.
This came in a 4-pack. This came from Pat's. Again, Pat's, Hall's Corner
I give it a 2.75. Shout to Pat's. I'm going to stop it right there.
Pat has a whole aisle.
That's it. I'll let him talk about Pat's for a minute.
Like for this, I mean, 40 or 50 beers. A lot of them, you know, the standards. Southern Tier, this is their big season. Masthead does a good job. They're Shipwrecked. There's a couple of those old hallmarks that have
Southern
multiple
Tier,
iterations.
Pumpkin
they don't
is
just
the
rely on one
standard,
or two.
right?
Like this is a big season for them because they do a bunch of these gimmicked up beers. But again, I'm fairly comfortable with this being a 4.0. Off the top rope on that. It's
all right. So now that he's done with that, I'm off the top rope. Off the bottom rope, 2.75. This beer is not very good. That's my reaction video. This was a lot of fun. I was not anticipating the amount of awkwardness of me kind of just sitting here. But to you, the viewer, you're hearing Matt. So it makes sense that this isn't really that bad. I watch a lot of reaction videos. I watch a lot of music reaction videos. I'm very big fan of Dance Gavin Dance. And they have a very unique sound. You know, the singer has a very high-toned voice, but they have a screamer, and they have just the most talented musicians I've ever heard in the band itself. And so I'll watch a lot of reaction videos from like music teachers and stuff. I just like watching the way that they react to things. So hopefully this was like that. This was good. a good reaction video, and maybe if you guys like it, I'll do the second half of the tipple party video. If you like that, then I'll just maybe keep doing some of these reaction videos on the solo episodes. I just have to make sure that they're ones I haven't watched, because then what's the point? But that's it. That is my short. It's 25 minutes long. I hope you enjoy it. Let me know. Please comment, subscribe, like, do all that stuff. But comment whether or not you like this style of video. I've always wanted to do a reaction video, and it was way different than I thought it was going to be. Thanks for joining. Brew Crew Podcast. Bye.